Hi, I'm Mark Ruff from 3D Body Scan and I'm excited. Why? You see, it's a great time to be involved in image making because there is a revolution about to occur in how image making is performed at the top end of town. Analogue photography used to be valued and it was a dark art where you sat in front of a box with an operator. Something happened and then you were presented with a likeness of yourself on paper. It was magical, it was unique, it was valued and it was expensive. Photography has been devalued since digital was introduced. It has made everyone with a mobile phone a photographer. So why would you pay for something that you can do yourself? To be professional these days means being able to provide a service that the average person cannot do for themselves. So what exactly is 3D body scanning? Well, it is an array of high-resolution still cameras set up in a particular way to capture a person. The end result is not a simple photograph, it is a 3D model. So what does that mean? Well, unlike a 2D photo, you can repose a model and animate it. 3D body scanning is far from easy and remains a dark art that only a few people in the world can perform, let alone the consumer with a mobile phone. Until now, we have only seen it for top-end AAA gaming and feature films. In feature films, it's best known as digital doubles, where an actor's head is placed on another person's body or stunt double to seamlessly integrate into a scene. Recently, I was commissioned to work on Alex Proyas's big Hollywood blockbuster, Gods of Egypt, which is to be released in the first half of 2016. I provided the Matrix-style bullet time effects, and they asked if I could do 3D body scanning. At that time I had to say no, but I thought I could master it within a couple of weeks with 15 years of multiple camera array experience up my belt. But it took me about 9 months to crack this nut. Feature films and AAA games are great, but let's go down one notch on this, since the industry in Australia is small. Let's look at how player profiles are produced. Whether it is AFL, NRL, tennis, golf or motor racing, players are admired by the public and they want to be known and seen. So player profiles are becoming more and more complex in their presentation. When a player profile is created, it is a big deal. A producer has to wrangle players, which is a tough call in itself, as availability of players is often difficult. If you can get them in one place at the one time, then the time you have with them is very limited. A player now has to become an actor by having to perform to a camera. It requires a large production team. It has to be lit, rehearsed, redone over and over until the desired timing and result is obtained. This has to happen for every player, and it takes a long time. Players are people, and they are all different, so the action is always a little bit different. If the player is not available on a certain day, then the entire setup may have to be replicated at another time and place. This often means a different look, which is undesirable for branding. It is a linear production that has a start and end to suit the final application. But what if the end result needs to be changed? Then the entire production must happen again. Imagine if we could remove ourselves from these constraints. 3D body scanning does just that. It requires just one small setup that occupies a footprint of just 5 by 5 meters. Capture is instant. What happens then is again magical and a dark art. Instead of a 2D photographic image, we now have a realistic 3D model or 3D avatar of that person. This digital asset can then be repurposed for any broadcaster, magazine, website, merchandiser or kiosk. It can even be used for augmented reality and virtual reality. From just one pose, the player can be reposed and even animated. Because it is no longer a photograph, the model can be relit to suit any environment. The animation and lighting or the look can be completely consistent, which reinforces branding. Our production is no longer linear, as imagery can suit any end result. The player no longer has to submit themselves to an arduous task of being an actor, and producers now have to wrangle players for another event. We are very fortunate in Australia where we are the host to a number of round ones in international sport like tennis and Formula One. Once these people or assets are captured, they can be repurposed and resold to the rest of the world. That is, the same scan can be repurposed and reanimated to suit any broadcaster. The end result can be different but the scan is the same and just repurposed. Does the player have to make themselves available for another session? No. The one scan does it all. It's not just for sports stars either. We are in the process of making a deal with a bronze foundry to immortalise people. We are not talking about cheap, small colour figurines that people do not value. We are talking bespoke pieces of art that last not just hundreds of years as in a photographic print, but tens of thousands of years. It has real longevity and is a legacy item. This is a service that can be brought to the rest of the world. I am after some fundraising to hire some talented 3D people to create content, and also a little bit more for capital so I can free myself from the reliance on other support tasks like motion capture. Motion capture is an integral component for animation. It was recently about a $1 million investment, but now you can get systems for about $25,000 which can be integrated into 3D body scanning. I'm Mark Ruff, Master of Photography and multiple award winner from 3D Body Scan, and thanks for listening.